Shamaya, you did it.
STL Music.
Is that good? Welcome back to the show. So listen up, we back in the game. Sweet believe we got the flame. Wanna get it to the fullest every single day. We wake up, get it in every way. Right to the two in the global inspiration. Talk this sports and top news, no hesitation. Sweet the league is back. We always coming back, that's a fact. Wanna tell them that. STL Music, look what we did, where we at. Coach Chill in the house with the flow so tight. Every girl, Purple Rock stats, we unite. Yeah, the best show, Monday through Friday. If this ain't different, they lying. We got the energy. When I say sweet, you say the league. Sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league, sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. Sweep the league. San Antonio, let's go.
Hey, it's Rain Fernandez, and you're watching Sweep the League. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok, and Facebook at Rain Fernandez, Rayne Fernandez.
Hi, it's Sherilyn, and you're watching Sweep the League TV. Follow me on Instagram at official Sherilyn for more content.
Hey, this is George Iceman Gervin, and you're listening to Sweet the League Radio.
Be the best day ever. Best day ever. It still could be the best day ever.
It's Sweep the League teams, evil legends collide. If the Cowboys fall short, we'll still ride the tide. Like Jordan in the clutch or Brady's last play. We bring the fire, keeping fans in the fray. Coach Gio and Marie calling the shots. With Garrett coming straight Hall of Fame thoughts. So hit that subscribe, don't sit on the bench. Get in the game, every highlight's intense. The live stream's on till your friends don't delay. Like Kobe in the fourth, we're here to play. Sweep the League TV, where greatness resides. From the blondes at the drives to Mahomes on the rise. We're all in on sports, NBA, CFB, and more for fans. Live fans, it's the show you'll adore.
Bulls have to hurry. Get it into Vucevic. Quick pass to Williams. Big shot for three. Good. 2-point game. 9.8 left. Oh, who's Giddy? The steal. Wait for the lead. Yeah!
Big time plays. Make big time plays. Kobe, White, Sub-Zero. Bang, bang, bang.
What a wild sequence. And the cardiac. Final shot before that. Here's Reeves. Reeves straight to the cup. Lays it in to take the lead. Bulls are out of timeouts. 2 seconds left. Giddy for the win.
Go! Oh, my God! I cannot believe this. Elizabeth, I'm coming, baby. Oh, Lord.
Improbable.
Unbelievable.
Impossible.
Magic Giddy. Good day, mate.
All right, welcome to Sweep the League. Rudy Coppola Jr. going to be joining you on this fun Friday, the Freaky Friday edition of Sweep the League. No better way to start the weekend to see the Lakers lose, right, against the Bulls at a half-court shot by Josh Giddey. Made a lot of people in Chicago giddy, obviously, because of that half-court shot. But what a great 12 seconds of basketball last night between the Lakers and the Bulls. And you know what? A lot of men can say we can do a lot in 12 seconds, but I don't know if you can have that much excitement in 12 seconds. Excitement provided last night by the Lakers and the Bulls. NBA season coming to an end as we are getting ready for the playoffs. We're going to take a look at some playoff matchups tonight for the NBA, where they stand right now, not power rankings, but the standings. Who do we like? Who's in the play-ins? Can the Spurs get there? Right now, the Spurs are 31-41. 10 games under 500. 10 games under 500. I don't see them getting into the play-in area because Dallas is sitting at 36 wins. Dallas with AD coming back now, I think they are able to withstand any run by Phoenix. maybe Sacramento falters a little bit. A lot of rumblings in Sacramento. Domantas Sabonis potentially traded in the offseason because of the direction of where the Kings are going. He may not like it, may not agree with it. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that for the Domantas Sabonis talk. But as of right now, I really don't see the Spurs. They've got a really rough schedule coming up. But we do have a little bit of Spurs talk here towards the end of the show. Devin Vassell was mentioned by Brett Siegel on Twitter today, or X, what the kids call it, X. And the potential of him being moved, the one name being mentioned, obviously, is Kevin Durant. Why I don't want to see a Kevin Durant deal. I think if you're going to be able to move draft picks and you're going to be able to make a move, I think there's a player out there that you could potentially go after who's kind of made a little, not a stink, but he's kind of put the thought in a lot of people's mind. Who is that player? We'll get to him later on in the show. The Freaky Friday edition. First things first, guys. First things first. We've got one thing we've got to do first. We've got to all wish Sweep the League Zone, host of Sweep the League, Derek Gervin, a very, very, very happy birthday to Derek Gervin. We wish you a happy birthday, brother. I know you're out there coaching the kids. You're coming back to Sweep the League when the season kind of winds down a little bit. He's doing a lot of great things in AAU basketball. First things first, happy birthday from all of us here at Sweep the League and Sweep the League Nation. Happy birthday to Derek Gervin. Shout out to Derek Gervin on a great day for him today. Happy birthday, sir. And of course, like clockwork, the next most important thing besides any sports talk we can get into is the three letters you've got to remember: the M, the C, and the S. You always see it on my cap. If you don't see it on my cap, you see it somewhere on the show. You got to remember those letters. MCS, that's MCS General Contracting. El Jefe is in here. What's good, everyone? Send Devin Vassell all the way out of San Antonio along with Jeremy. We're going to talk about that, man. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. I promise you it's coming there. It's coming later because Brett Siegel threw it out there. We're going to talk about Devin Vassell here. Appreciate you joining us. So, Leija, obviously, the Jefe, MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors, the main sponsors for Sweep the League. And whoa. Let's chill out for a minute. MCS is not only the sponsors for Sweep the League, they are now a part of the I Am Refocused Radio Network, as both Sweep the League Network, I Am Refocused Radio Network, already partnered for 6-7 years already, as we've been talking, finally made a huge merger. You're going to be able to see all of I Am Refocused Radio interviews that they do, all the way from Hillary Banks from Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has been interviewed by Shemaya and the Refocus group, all the way over to, guys from Motown, Grammy Award winning artists from Motown. I mean, you're talking all spectrums of the board of the world there from I Am Refocus Radio. You're getting all that content now on Sweep the League Network, as well as Sweep the League Network going to I Am Refocus Radio. So we're blasting everything all weekend, and every single week you're going to be getting a whole lot. But what does that mean? That means that MCS General Contracting is the sponsor for everything, all the content coming out. Why? Because they are the best in the business. You know what? They build everything. They build the platform for you. They will build the foundation, get you ready as what they did for us. They help us lay the foundation for both networks to be able to merge into one and provide everybody with massive amount of content, from entertainment, from music to sports to everything, even sports card and collectibles. Soon to be the Painting Corners podcast by Austin Hartsfield coming back here. We've got you covered. The reason why we have you covered is because of MCS General Contracting. You want to build a better network. You want to build a better San Antonio. You want to build a better place. Everything that has to do with being built, there's three letters you remember. That's M, that's C, and that's S. Contact Chris Leija today, the Jefe, the guy out there at MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Mario Cavazos is in here. Appreciate you joining us here tonight, Mario. Cut them fools, Leija. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. All right. I'll wait. Yeah, I'm not gonna wait you. I'm not gonna make you wait too long. Don't worry about that. You ain't waiting too long. Memphis Grizzlies announced they have parted ways with head coach Taylor Jenkins. What did he do? Great question, Mario. Let's get into some Taylor Jenkins talk.
It is. I was just going through my text messages to people around the league when I first heard this broke, because nobody saw it coming, and it was, beyond crazy, out of left field. Nobody can quite explain why they made this decision now. The timing of it is inexplicable, and I've never seen it happen. I've never seen a team that is on the verge of not only having to play a really important game this weekend as far as their playoff positioning, but you are fighting and capable of getting home court advantage for the playoffs, and you're going to fire your coach now without the heir apparent being an obvious choice.
Yeah, when
like if J.J. Redick was flailing and you had Scotty Brooks and Nate McMillan there, you go,
say,
okay, we get it, right? Like you got the veteran there. That isn't there with Taylor Jenkins. So
I'm not sure this has anything to do with his coaching.
I don't think it can't.
It can't.
So there you heard Rick Bucher there talking about Taylor Jenkins obviously being fired from Memphis, and out of the blue, out of the ordinary. It's just something that was very, very, very suspicious. Something that was caught a lot of people off guard, as you can tell. A lot of people that cover the NBA. Everybody was just caught off guard by it. Is it the coaching? Like you heard Rick mention, it's not the coaching. I mean, they were going to the playoffs for the fourth time in a row. I mean, as I have the standings in front of me, they're fifth in the Western Conference as of right now, 44-29. You're getting great play out of Jaren Jackson Jr. Zach Edey as a rookie has come on strong for them. I believe it's Jalen Wells, the other rookie there. That's he's been playing really good as well. Desmond Bain. I mean, Memphis is, they're going to make noise in the playoffs. Are they going to win the title? No, they're not going to win the title. But if you think last year, at the end of last year, beginning of this year, if I'm not mistaken, Memphis front office fired or let go of the entire coaching staff except Taylor Jenkins. They kept Taylor Jenkins, but a lot of his assistants, pretty much all of them, I believe, are gone. They were let go. So they had to restart with the assistant coaches. Kind of oddball behavior by Memphis there. Was there writing on the wall? Because if you're getting rid of an entire coaching staff, but you're keeping the head coach, that you normally don't see that at all. So hence why they say there's no real heir apparent there, because this is basically a rebuilt coaching staff for Taylor Jenkins. Now with you're 73 games in, you have 8 games left on the season for Memphis. You make a move to fire Taylor Jenkins. I don't get it. Now, I understand, because if you go back to the Boston times with Ime Udoka and what happened there, I totally get it. And that is the same kind of feel that I have right now, is that it's not basketball related. I mean, you can't get rid of him because he's doing a bad job as a coach. He's not doing a bad job as a coach. Now, I know it slipped my mind, but the coach from Milwaukee before, Doc Rivers, now he had a winning record as well. They fired him. Again, that never really came out a whole lot. There was a lot of speculation as to what happened. I'm not bringing up that speculation. That's something that, you guys got to do the research on. But in this case, for Jenkins, I think when I talked to somebody, I think I talked to somebody earlier, one of the guys, I talked to a guy that, he covers the NBA. He's not a big time guy, but we talk a little bit from time to time. He writes a couple of articles for a couple of, websites. And I told him first and foremost, I said, it's something off the court. It feels like Ime Udoka type stuff. Maybe maybe there was a relationship, an unwanted relationship outside of the court. I mean, to me, that is probably the one reason why you instantly make that move like that, just out of the blue. I don't think they were thinking about it. I don't think anything happened. I think maybe there was a complaint made and something was going on behind the scenes. Obviously, Taylor, they talked to him. If he came out and, said yes, I mean, that's probably the reason why you're seeing him being fired on the spot. I don't want to speculate into what it is. I can give you my opinion. I can tell you this is probably why it happened. Personally, me, I think it's obviously behind closed doors. Something happened behind closed doors. Reason why Taylor Jenkins is gone from the Memphis Grizzlies, but the timing is horrible. Horrible. Even under investigation, you could say, well, we're going to suspend you pending investigation. So I hope it's nothing horrible, like nothing super bad when it all comes out. We're going to find out. But if you feel like it's because of coaching, I mean, the guys leading them their fourth straight playoff appearance. They're 44-29, tied with the Lakers for fourth place. I mean, they could make a run and get up to number 3, maybe number 2 if possible. I mean, they are 4 back from Houston. Roughly, 3.5 back from Houston for the 2 spot. So, I mean, there's nothing really going wrong as far as on the court goes or players. Kind of crazy. MCS General Contracting, Chris Leija in here. Yo, the Grizzlies booting Jenkins is wild. Who did he piss off? Why can't the Spurs boot Mitch this way? I think Mitch might get the boot, man. I think he's done all he can do with San Antonio. I think he's probably done after this season. Isn't he one of Pop's disciples, Spurs coaching tree? I believe he was. Yeah, he was a part of it. Yo, evening, Rudy the crew. What is up, JC Special Leaf himself there? Special Leaf drink. You know what? I drank a Special Leaf today. Shout out to Special Leaf, man. I got to get my Special Leaf drinks in from time to time, man, because it's a great drink out there. You guys need to try it. Special Leaf tea, man. Great, great, great. John Morant wanting a black head coach, calling him a colonizer. Yeah, John Morant's on a different world sometimes, man. I'll say that about John Morant from time to time. But nonetheless, Taylor Jenkins being fired by the Memphis Grizzlies before the playoffs, sitting at 44-29, within striking distance of getting at least home court advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Timing is bad. Timing is horrible. Something had to go wrong. Something I'm thinking did go wrong. I really don't know, man. This is a head scratcher. As more news comes out from it, we'll get back to you guys when more news. Which I'm thinking you're gonna probably hear some stuff over the weekend. I think more will come out over the weekend. We'll find out why this was made. This coaching change was made. Why Taylor Jenkins was fired. So as more information comes out, maybe we'll do an emergency type sweep the league if it's something that warrants a major podcast done or major emergency podcast done right away. But we'll see what happens on that instance right there. Lakers losing last night to the Chicago Bulls. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the show, 12 seconds. The last 12 seconds of that basketball game was amazing. Like I said, guys, 12 seconds for a guy. Sometimes it's not even that exciting, but that last night, that game was exciting. Loved it. Everybody loves to see the Lakers lose, especially when LeBron is on the court and he, is technically the reason why they lost, giving little effort on the defensive end on that first 3-point shot, throwing the ball away on the inbounds, and then Josh Giddey himself nailing it from half court in LeBron's face. Loved it. Loved every moment of it. Bulls, man. Let's bring up the standings here. Let's get into some NBA talk here before we go to our first commercial break here. Rudy Campos Jr., Sweep the League. Be sure to go to our YouTube page or Sweep the League TV. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any content whatsoever. Here are your standings as of right now. This does not include the games that are being played right now. So any finals that happen now are not included. Eastern Conference, I mean, you've got a fight between the Cavaliers and the Celtics. The one team you guys got to watch for is the Detroit Pistons. They did end up beating Cleveland tonight. They beat Cleveland. Detroit is a team that is definitely on a mission. You've got Cade Cunningham, who I'm not saying he's up there. I'm not saying, he should get, a whole lot of mention, but Cade Cunningham playing at MVP caliber now. Caliber, yeah, I'm going to use the word caliber. He's putting up some great stats for Detroit. But he's starting to climb that ladder to where, you know what? This guy's making a huge difference. Is he ever going to be MVP of the league? I don't know. But I mean, he's putting up, he's getting looks as one of the best players in the league right now. And you're seeing it with that 41-32 record. Jalen Duren, Tobias Harris is doing what he needs to do, and that is being a leader, a veteran leader. Now, Tobias Harris isn't going to go out there and give you old Tobias Harris stats, but he's going to be able to be that leader on the court to help the young guys. Mark Sasser's another one. I mean, you've got, I believe, Tim Hardaway. I mean, Detroit is loaded with a team that Pistons fans remember. It's a blue-collar team, a hard-working team. They play together. They know how to play the game. And it's showing right now. They're climbing up the standings. Can they get up to that third seed? I don't know, but if the Knicks falter and the Pistons are able to get, I mean, let's be real. They're going to, if they play the Pacers in round one, I'm not really sold on Indiana. I mean, a lot of people were on Tyrese Halliburton last year. I said, you know what? I got to see year 2 of Tyrese Halliburton doing the same thing. I ain't seen anything like that. Last year was a way better year for him than this year. If you go with Pistons and Pacers right now, I'm taking the Pistons all day in that. If you look at the play-in spots for the Eastern Conference, best team in the play-in spot right now is definitely in Chicago. You've got Josh Giddey. I mean, he almost had a quadruple double the other night. Back when Josh Giddey was drafted by Oklahoma City, and I remember that Locked On Spurs own Jeff Garcia was doing a Locked On mock draft, and of course he picks for the Spurs. I remember telling him, you've got to take Josh Giddey for the Spurs in your mock draft. Josh Giddey is that guy. He's a walking triple-double. And I mean, the kid can get a triple-double on any given night. I felt he was one of the best players in that draft. I still feel that way. Don't really concern about the off-the-court issues. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm worried about on-the-court stuff right now. Legal battles and stuff like that, that's over there. But for the way he plays on the court, he's helping Kobe White become that next level star. Matas Buzelis is becoming a go-to player and a star as a rookie. They got rid of Zach LaVine. They ended up moving on from DeMar. They got rid of Zach LaVine. Now you're seeing the roots of a young team developing. Why is it I bring up the Pistons? Why is it that I bring up the Bulls? I bring them up for the reason because these two teams, more so the Pistons, were horrid for many years. They were bad. Pistons were a laughingstock. But it proves to you that when you have the right coach that can gel players together, can get the best out of them, you start to see a difference. The Bulls are on their way up. The Magic. Now, I thought the Magic were going to be better than they are right now. But they do need a point guard. They do need a veteran guard to go with Paolo and Franz Wagner. And FYI, Wagner's probably going to be the best player on that team. I really believe when it's all said and done, he'll be the best player. He'll be 1A where Paolo is 1B. But if they get a veteran point guard, hey, Chris Paul, I think Orlando is just that much better. They're not doing a whole lot this year, but I had them doing a lot better. The Hawks, hey, I'm one that never expected the Hawks to be 35-38. Kudos to the Hawks, man. They're playing at a different level this year. I was one that didn't expect that. With the moves that they made in the offseason, then you trade DeAndre Hunter at the trade deadline. I'm like, yeah, they ain't going to work, man. It ain't going to work. But it's working. They're in the play-in. Bulls, Pistons. Those two teams. Pistons were horrible. Bulls were mediocrity. They were mediocre. But now you're starting to see them grow up more. Go to the Western Conference, Oklahoma City. They've been good for a while, but they had their struggles. Houston took them a while to get back into it after the Harden. They got there. The Western Conference is a little bit harder because a lot of the teams that are good now, Denver, LA, Memphis, Clippers, the Warriors, Mavericks, a lot of these teams have been playoff or play-in bound every single year. So I'm saying this much on the Western Conference. It's tougher. The West is tough. It's going to be a barn battle. But for Spurs fans out there, you go to three teams. You go to Oklahoma City because of what Sam Presti built. The right moves were made. And they turned that entire system around in a snap of a finger. In a Thanos snap of his finger. They turned it around. In the Eastern Conference, the Cavaliers, man, I mean, again, they added one veteran. One true star veteran in Donovan Mitchell. Everybody else played together. Mobley, Jared Allen, Darius Garland. They're doing things up there. But look at those two teams. Look at the Detroit. If you had Detroit, Derek Gervin as my witness, I told him Detroit's going to be a lot better this year than they have been. They're not the worst team in the league. They're not even the worst team, like the fifth or sixth worst team in the league, period. They're going to be a lot better than people give them credit for. I, for one, will admit I didn't expect them to be top 5 in the East. I did not expect that. But Spurs fans, the Pistons, the Bulls, the Magic, the Thunder, the Spurs are on the exact same path as these teams. You've already got your person. You've got Wemby. Praying that he stays healthy. You made the big trade you had to make. And that was to get De'Aaron Fox in here. You got that. So you got your 1-2. You drafted the best player in the draft. You're lucky he fell to the Spurs, and you got him. The best player in the draft in Stephon Castle. Everything is falling into place. I know it's 10 games below 500. And I'm not one here to praise them when they're losing or to say they're doing a great job. But if you guys go back to Locked On Spurs at the beginning of the year, and Jeff always asking me, what do we expect? What What good can come out if another season is bad? I always tell Jeff, 22 wins. You got to get there, but you got to improve on 22 wins. Get to 30, and I think that is a successful season. An 8-win turnaround is success. Bingo, they checked that off. 35 wins is a 13-game turnaround. For a team with no identity, for a team that lost its leader in Greg Popovich, 13-game turnaround, if they get to 35 wins, that's a good season. It gives you something that we all, as fans of the Spurs, and as fans of any NBA team that struggles out there, Pistons, Bulls, it gives you one thing that we all hope for. And that is hope, what I just said. You hope for it. What are they going to do now? Brett Siegel says, hey, there's rumors about Devin Vassell and bringing Kevin Durant to San Antonio. What are those rumors? Do I agree with them? Hell no, I don't. I'll tell you why when we get back. Rudy Campos Jr. Sweep the League. It's brought to you by MCS General Contracting. Now, word from our sponsors. Are you looking for a contracting company that gets the job done right the first time? Look no further than MCS General Contracting. MCS specializes in top quality concrete work, including patios, driveways, foundations, and swimming pools. The team of experts are dedicated to delivering exceptional results and unparalleled customer satisfaction. At MCS General Contracting, they're not just hardworking, they're local. Based in San Antonio, they are committed to building relationships and trust within the community. That's why MCS guarantees your satisfaction. They pride themselves on getting the job done right the first time, every time. So why wait? Contract MCS General Contracting today to schedule your project and experience the difference for yourself. MCS General Contracting. Building a better San Antonio, one project at a time. Proud sponsors of Sweep the League.
Vision on the court, watch my plays take action. Fast break, hustle, yeah, I'm built to compete. Defense locked in, I'm the soul of the street. Court vision crazy, I'm balling in the zone. Step back, jumper, yeah, I'm cold like stone. 2025 moves my game, got finesse. Leave it all on the floor, you know I'm the best.
You are watching Sweep the League TV. Make sure you subscribe and catch our new videos.
Sweep the League TV with Rudy Garrett and Coach Kia. Let's get back to the live show. You are watching the best in the business.
All right, welcome back to Sweep the League. Rudy Campos Jr. here. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. Best in the business, 100% guaranteed. Sweep the League backs MCS General Contracting every single time. We put our word on there for MCS General Contracting because we believe in them. Why? Because they are the best. Why are they the best? Because when you contract them to do their job, they're going to do it right the first time. They're going to make sure you're taken care of. You know what? They're never going to leave a customer unsatisfied. They're going to make sure the job is done right the first time, every time. Their word is the reason why they are the best in the business. Contact MCS General Contracting today. Tell them Sweep the League sent you. And maybe you can get one of these cool hats right here if you do that as well. MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. And you know what? We haven't had a Spurs Cheese Meh segment in a while. Let's kick it off.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs this y Spurs that, y como que esto y esta, pero I never hear about the real Spurs chisme. Dime, por favor.
Thank you. Oh, you gotta go.
So, like, I hear about the Spurs.
She don't want to
this,
get off the
Spurs
air, does
that, y como que esto.
she didn't want to get off the air. We haven't used our Spurs Cheeseman girl in a long time. She wanted to make it known that she's here to stay. All right, our Spurs Cheeseman for the night. So Brett Siegel out there is saying Spurs Devin Vassell has come up in early offseason trade conversations with league personnel. After just trading for De'Aaron Fox, the Spurs will continue to be aggressive in their pursuit of more talent around Victor Wembanyama. Could this lead them to Kevin Durant? Now, again, I always reference one show, and that's friend of the show, Jeff Garcia on Locked On Spurs. Everybody that listens to Sweep, I know for a fact, listens to Locked On Spurs. So I'm going to beat a dead horse again with it. I remember saying, I got a lot of you guys on Locked On, is that 2025, the summer of 2025, heading into 2026, is going to be the changing point. It's going to be the turning point. It's going to be the summer that turns the entire ship around, and you start to see the fruits of the labor pay off there. It's this summer, because you've got free agents that are coming up this summer. You've got guys that are going to be going into their last year of the contract in 2026. So teams could be looking to trade them knowing that they probably don't want to be around. You've got a lot of great players. So in the offseason this year, obviously LeBron James is a free agent. I don't see the Spurs going for LeBron James at all. He has a player option this offseason. Other guys with player options: Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Middleton, John Collins, Julius Randle. Miles Turner is an unrestricted free agent, but he's going to be a free agent. So you've got some guys right now. The mention of Kevin Durant, I'm not so sure that I want to go that route. Kevin has another year. He's not a free agent until 2026. So he has another year. So he's going to want that extension. Come in here. 37 years old is when he becomes a free agent. Do you want to pay max dollar to Kevin Durant to extend him up until he's 39? I have zero faith, zero hope, zero expectations. Can't be disappointed that way. That's the way I feel a lot of times too, man. I go in with zero expectations on a lot of stuff. So that way, when it goes wrong, like I know it goes wrong, I'm never let down. I like that way of thinking. Shout out to Dodgeball. Dodgeball taught me that. Big Vince Vaughn, he taught me that, man. Shout out to Dodgeball on that one. But here's the thing with Kevin Durant. You trade for Kevin Durant. It's a sexy move. A sexy move. But it's only a move that guarantees you a couple of years worth of Kevin Durant. I can't see Kevin Durant playing until he's 41. I mean, he's going to be 30. He's going to be 37 by the time this contract's over. So I don't want to trade for Kevin Durant using Devin Vassell. If I trade for anybody, I'm looking at Devin Booker as a deal right there. I think if you're able to pair Devin Booker with Castle and with De'Aaron Fox, I like that. Major shooting. That's a lot of shooting right there, obviously. A lot of scoring. To add with Victor Wembanyama, they're going to have to respect De'Aaron and Devin Booker on the perimeter. So Durant, no. Booker, yeah. But who's the one guy that I really, and I've mentioned him before, the one guy who's made it clear that if we are not going to win, I want to go somewhere where I can win. Man, that Victor Wembanyama is a really good player. Dame Lillard out. He's dealing with Victor's got when it comes to blood clots. Milwaukee traded away Chris Middleton. Probably not going to go very far in the playoffs this year. The Dame Giannis experiment not really working. That's where I'm looking. I'm looking at Giannis Antetokounmpo, who becomes a free agent in 2027, and he'll be 32 when he becomes a free agent. I don't mind maxing Giannis out for 5 years because then I still get him. I'm getting him in his prime. I get the shooting. I get all that. But again, you're bringing him in not necessarily to be the focal point, but to be the running mate. That's one guy I would definitely do what I can to make that happen. And I'm not going to lie to you, Oklahoma City is already working on that. OKC has 2 guys circled. Giannis for the long term, Kevin Durant for the short term. OKC is probably going to be your NBA champions this year. Let's just get that out of the way. Their weakness is the injury bug. That's it. So, yeah, Jeff's in here. It's not a concrete report. It's just speculation. No. I know it's speculation. We're not going over this as it's going to happen. No, but we've talked. Devin Vassell is the guy that is rumored to be gone in a trade that involves another superstar because of the contract. So no, I know it's not a concrete report. Yeah, if it was just speculation, or if it was just something that just somebody's throwing out there, I get it. But I only bring it up because Devin Vassell is the one guy that gets talked about a whole lot on trade talks. So I appreciate you bringing that up, Jeff. But yeah, no, I'm talking about it because eventually I do want to. I see him moving on. Here's the thing, Devin Vassell will probably end up being a Spur next year and come off the bench. That's kind of what I say. But the thing is this: if you're gonna move him, don't move him to Phoenix. Kevin Durant, to me, he's 36. He'll be 37 when his contract is up. You don't want to give him, a 5-year deal. He's not going to play till he's 41, 42. I don't see that. That's putting too much money in there. And then if it doesn't work out, his contract is too high. You can't move him. So you're going to have to cut him, eat that salary. It's going to really take away a lot of your cap space. If you're going to throw the bank and open up the vault for somebody, you're going to do it for Victor. You're going to do it for Stephon Castle. You're going to do it for De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox should get his extension this offseason, if I'm not mistaken. But if you want to go get somebody and make that trade happen, the one person I definitely would do it for is, former MVP already, Giannis Antetokounmpo. You're getting him in his prime right now. I am 100% against the KD trade. I don't like it. Not that I'm disrespectful to KD. I don't see him fitting here, but again, it's too much. It's too much to give up, and it's too much to invest at 37 years old when he becomes a free agent. You trade for him next year, he's 36. Are you really going to get him for another 5 years? I don't think so. I'm going to say no. Like Steph Curry, Steph is a free agent in 2027. I believe that's his last contract right there. I think he might retire. He may sign a 1 or 2 year deal, and then he might retire because then he's pushing 40. So, those are the guy. That's the guy that I look at. I definitely am going to say no to KD. I go after one guy, and it's the same guy that Oklahoma City is going to be going after as well. You want to keep up with the Thunder, you've got to make moves. Joel Cologne, good evening, y'all. Sorry I'm late. Red Sox are playing. Rangers 4, Red Sox 1. Ooh, shout out Rangers, man. Rangers got the best of the Red Sox tonight, 4-1. Appreciate you joining us here, Joel Cologne. Rudy, is Amir or is the East play-in and playoffs going to be boring? Seems like it was just going to be Boston, Cleveland, maybe Detroit as a Cinderella team. No, man. We talked about it a little while ago, and I'll bring that up in a minute here. Say no to KD. Yeah, 100% on that. So the East is actually going to be really good. I mean, I have Boston coming out of the East. I think Cleveland has a really good shot to beat Boston if they're doing the conference finals. But I still like Boston. Detroit can make some noise. If Detroit plays either Indiana or New York in that first round, I will be taking Detroit in either series. I do like Detroit. I think the Knicks give them a little bit of a problem, but with Tom Thibodeau, the way he coaches and he plays his guys until, they are just completely tired, I think they're going to run out of gas. So give me Detroit in a series over to the Knicks or the Pacers. I will take the Detroit Pistons all day in those two series. But the play-in is going to be really good, Jeff, because as you saw last night with the Bulls have been playing not well. They've been playing extremely well. They've been playing on a whole nother planet well. You of all people remember, I was really high on Josh Giddey when he came up. I used to talk about him on Locked On during that draft time. And I also mentioned to you about drafting him in your mock drafts and all that stuff. I was really high on Josh Giddey. But you have Josh Giddey, who's a walking triple-double. Matas Buzelis is playing unreal to where if he was playing like this beginning of the year, you're talking about probably a guy who's winning Rookie of the Year over Stephon Castle easily. But I think Stephon has it locked up. I really do think he has it locked up still. Buzelis is trying to make a huge move for Rookie of the Year. But if he would have played like this at the beginning, I think it would have been a different story. I think Buzelis would probably end up winning Rookie of the Year. But you've got the emergence of Buzelis as a rookie. Kobe White is just going bonkers. I don't know if it's a Jeremy Lin type of run where he's just, going to be hot for a little bit, or if we're getting, true Kobe White where he's just going to be balling year in and year out and taking that next level, that next tier up to superstardom. The Bulls are just a couple of players away from, being, legit top 3, top 4. So playing wise, I'm gonna go on a limb and say this. Excuse me. I haven't watched a whole lot of NBA basketball this year, but the way the playoffs and the play-in are setting up, I'll say this. I think we're going to have a very exciting playoffs this year in the NBA. I like the matchups. I like the teams that are in. On the Eastern Conference, you're mixing it up. You've got a Hawks team that nobody gave any shot to. I know I didn't. I will clearly admit I had the Hawks outside of the play-in. They are in there. And then, you know what? You make that trade at the trade deadline. DeAndre Hunter goes to Cleveland. You're like, okay, they're really tanking this time. They just can't. So I like the Eastern Conference. I'm not going to say it's, the best. I think your champion is still Oklahoma City. The West is going to beat up on each other every playoff series. It's going to be good. But on the Eastern Conference side, I like it, man. I like it. It's going to be pretty exciting. You're going to see some young guys, coming up on the Eastern Conference, and that's good for the NBA right now. I think it's going to be a fun playoffs. Definitely a fun playoff. Say no way to KD and SA. And I get what you're saying here. Tough to root for the pedo and the Bulls. They deserve credit for They deserve credit for their play. I mentioned it earlier, and look, whatever happens off the court, I'm not here to talk about off the court stuff. Everybody knows the reports. Everybody's seen this and that. I'm not going to talk about off the court, but what I see on the court for the sports world, that's exactly what I'm talking about. I do get where you're coming from, JC. I really do. So It is tough to root for that, for him on that sense. But overall, the play on the court, his play has transformed the Bulls into, a potential playoff team. Now, out of the 4 teams in the play-in in the Eastern Conference, they are the best team in that 4-team race. I think Orlando has kind of already mellowed out. I think that's the Orlando team we're going to get. The Hawks, again, they're streaky. They shouldn't be there. They have nothing to lose. So I think the Hawks are a crazy kind of good pick, but to me, the Bulls are that team. Of course, you got Miami. Miami's in the 10 spot. They could, get really hot here at the end and make a move, but at the same time, the thing is this: if you're looking at those 4 teams, the Chicago Bulls are my favorite team out of those plans. So that I think the Eastern Conference is going to be a way better than we expected here. Giddey got cleared from that allegation, right? Didn't really look much into it. I'm not sure, but I think if he wasn't cleared, something would have happened by now. So those are some pretty big allegations to where I don't think they would just not do anything about it because it did come out in the open. So I want to say he may have gotten cleared on it. So we'll leave it at that. I haven't looked much into that. So I apologize for that. Do we believe in the Knicks, Rudy? I loved the Knicks at the beginning of the year. Karl Anthony Towns was playing at MVP caliber, putting up MVP numbers. Brunson was playing good. They had a really good thing, but the one thing that hurts the New York Knicks, Jeff, is Tom Thibodeau. I mean, he runs his guys ragged all year long, man. When it comes playoff time, these guys don't want to play. They're tired. They're beat up. Tibbs has to really look at his coaching style. I know you want to win games, man, but at what cost? If you're up by 10 points with a minute and a half left, take out a starter or two, man. You gotta rest some of these guys. You can't just play them the entire time. So basically, this is what it comes to the Knicks. Depending who they play in the first round, if they play Detroit in the first round, give me Detroit. I'll be honest, give me Detroit. Let me bring up the standings. I have the standings here. So Knicks are at 3. Chances of Indiana catching them are probably not. Well, they're probably okay. They can maybe catch them. Knicks could drop to 4th, end up playing Detroit there. Now the Knicks possibly playing Milwaukee. I give the Knicks a huge shot over Milwaukee. I think I would take them over Milwaukee only because of Dame Lillard being out. You've got Giannis. Now, Giannis kills the Knicks. Giannis is a Knick killer. Easily. So, could he really have a magical series and lift them up? It's possible. I would take probably the Knicks though over the Bucks. But if the Knicks play the Pistons, I would take Detroit. If the Knicks somehow play the Pacers, give me the Knicks on that. I don't believe in the Pacers. I think it's all matchup. It's just who they draw, Jeff. But no, I don't believe in the Knicks at all this season. Tibbs runs a short bench. That's what we were saying, man. He runs a very short bench. His plays as starters, ungodly minutes. And you know what? It's not even about, what is it, rest or, any of this stuff. It's just, you got to give some of these guys a little bit of breaks, man. You got to give them a break from time to time. I understand it's 82-game season. You want them to play 82 games, but, you don't want to play them 48 minutes a night. 40-something minutes each on your starters. That's a little bit overboard. There's a lot of times where the Knicks had, a decent lead. They weren't going to blow it, and yet you still have your starters out there. That's how injuries happens, man. That's how injuries happen. At least the fans are getting their money's worth. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, you're paying, high prices for tickets. You're definitely going to want to see the starters 40, 42 minutes a night. That's for damn sure. So, they are getting their money's worth, man. Jeff Garcia's in here. Is there something more to the Jenkins firing today? Why now? Memphis playing great, and why not until the offseason? Again, we touched on it earlier at the beginning of the show, and the Memphis thing is this. I will say, I did talk to Derek Gervin. I did talk to a couple of people that write for a couple of NBA websites, and it was all my comments that I made to them were it's fishy. It has nothing to do with on the court. It has a lot to do with off the court. I compared it to the Ime Udoka type of situation in Boston. It, I hope it's not super bad, but to get a call, to get fired right away without saying the words of, Taylor Jenkins is suspended indefinitely pending an investigation. Yeah. So to me, something major happened to where it was a fireable offense right away. Now, at the end of last season, beginning of this season, Derek made a point to me, and I do remember it. He said, his coaching staff, his assistant coaching staff was all gone. They were all let go and fired. So I don't know if writing was on the wall back then for him, but again, you're talking about a guy who took Memphis to 4 straight playoffs, because they're going to make the playoffs this year. 4 straight playoffs. And you do it now. That's the most concerning part, is you do it now. That I don't get. I don't get that at all. But it's happened, and I think a lot's going to come out this weekend. I think more will come out this weekend. Memphis does have a big game this weekend. Let me get the Memphis schedule here, because I think they've got a really big game either tomorrow or on Sunday. Give me a second here. Let's take a look at the schedule here. Okay, so they have the Lakers tomorrow. So yeah. So this is Memphis's schedule. They've got Lakers, Boston, Golden State, Miami, Detroit. All 5 teams are either play-in or playoff already. To fire Jenkins with a 5-game stretch like that coming up, very concerning. It has to be something off the court. Something happened. I don't think it's a player, players coming out saying we don't want him here. Again, I mean, you're playing great basketball. They did have that incident a couple of nights ago with Desmond Bain and I can't remember the other guy. Aldana, I think is what it was. So I don't know if that played a part in it. I mean, Desmond Bain's on video pushing him, not Taylor Jenkins, but pulling Aldana. So that, I don't know if that may play a small piece of it. I have no idea. But even at that, internal stuff in the locker room, you don't get fired right away, especially when you're winning. You don't get fired like that. So, like I said, talking to a few people as well as Derek, we talked a little bit, and I told him the first thing to hit me was it's off the court. It feels a lot like that Ime Udoka thing that happened in Boston, not necessarily to that extent, but yeah, I mean, it's something. It definitely is something. Does Jenkins get a spot on your short list for this next San Antonio Spurs coach? Now that he's available, I would say he gets a spot, but you got to remember, man, Spurs are squeaky clean. So unless we know exactly what happened with Taylor in Memphis, it's kind of hard to put him on a Spurs list right now. I know fans love Taylor Jenkins, and they're, as soon as we fire, shout out to one of the guys on Twitter that always tags me when a player gets cut or a coach gets fired. It's always like, here comes Spurs Twitter. Spurs Twitter is going to say this player would make a great Spur. This coach would be a great coach for the Spur. And sure enough, yeah, it has happened. A lot of Taylor Jenkins fans out there for the Spurs, but we don't know what happened. I think until more information comes out, until, it's just settled that Taylor was, how he was fired because we wanted to go a different route. And if it truly is true and nothing was sketchy behind the scenes, I could put him on a short list for the Spurs. I mean, a great coach, man. I mean, a great coach. So I would say, do I have him ahead of Mike Brown? Probably not. I don't know. That's a tough one. I still like Mike Brown. I like Mike Brown a lot. So I would say he probably jumps into the top 5 when it comes to coaching searches. Maybe top 5 would be a good one for the San Antonio Spurs with Taylor Jenkins. We'll see, but more information has to come out. We got to get a lot more information before we can even think about putting him on the list. Memphis is a waste of a team. So much talent. I really think, and I agree with you on that, Joel. A whole lot. I wholeheartedly agree with you 100% on that. I don't know what move you could possibly make. I mean, you can get massive amount of deals in return for John Morant. You can get a really good return for Jaren Jackson Jr. But I don't know. I mean, if you're asking me and talking to me about it, I'm a bad person to talk about it because I dangled John Morant out there and Jaren Jackson Jr. and say, well, what can we get for John Morant? I mean, if I get a fool's pot of gold, I mean, be an idiot not to take it, but that's just me right there. But then again, yeah, they have a lot of talent, a whole lot of talent, man. I would move Morant. That's JJ's team. Now you know why I just mentioned John Morant. I said I would dangle Morant because I think I get a whole lot more for John Morant. And I like Jaren Jackson Jr. as the main guy there. Build around him. You got Zach Edey. Desmond Bain, is a really good player for that team. But I know I can get a whole lot for Ja. Why not, right? I mean, Phoenix might take him. You can probably get Booker in return, if you're talking about Ja for Booker type stuff. So who knows today? But going back to Taylor Jenkins, we don't know. We're going to find out. Hopefully, we're going to be able to find out here pretty soon with what's going on with Taylor Jenkins. GTM, Jacob Eric himself grading the market. I believe they're dropping an episode tomorrow. So once it's done, we'll be able to drop it for you guys on Sweep the League Network. Getting back to the network here before we go here. Shout out to Jacob, Eric, and Anthony. They're doing a fantastic job for grading the market. For those of y'all that are joining in now, again, we tested it out and it seems to be working. So the big announcement that we had earlier was, of course, with MCS General Contracting, proud sponsors of Sweep the League. And now they are the major sponsor for not only Sweep the League Network, but also for the I Am Refocused radio network. So you're getting all network. Our content is going to be on. And again, I Am Refocused Radio, Sweep the League Network. We've been in partners. We've been, doing collabs and everything for the past 7 years or so. It's been a very long time. But now more than ever, you're going to get both contents because when you subscribe to Sweep the League on YouTube, you get all of I Am Refocused Radio as well because their content's going to be played on ours. You're talking interviews with, the girl. You're talking interviews with actresses, actors, music legends, Grammy legends. I mean, everything you get from I Am Refocused Radio. Shout out to Fight and Sight Podcast, our MMA podcast. They dropped an episode. Again, that was on I Am Refocused Radio. Now it's coming on over to Sweep the League Network. So content's going back and forth. You're going to get so much content from both networks. It's going to be amazing. So you're going to get Fight and Sight podcast with Timmy B. It's MMA. Great. I mean, one of the best MMA podcasts out there. He gets tons of MMA fighters, tons of UFC guys. I mean, just everything from MMA, from the world of MMA. Timmy B's got you covered. Fight and Sight podcast. You're getting grading the market. Obviously, you're getting Sweep Unplugged, Sweep League TV. You're going to be getting the I Am Refocused Radio. Not only do you get STL music, you're also going to be getting the music from I Am Refocused as well. So you guys think that you're getting a lot already. Well, the door is open, and the people that made it possible is MCS General Contracting. Proud sponsors of the network. The proud sponsors of both Sweep the League Network and I Am Refocused Radio Network. And also grading the market because they're part of the Sweep the League Network. Shout out to Jacob Eric out there. Feels like Morant isn't the same player anymore. He really doesn't feel like the same player. And that's why I would probably look at making a call to see, what kind of value can I get in return for John Morant? You always got to take the call, Jeff. I make that point very clear. You always got to take the call when it comes to players, man. Got to take the calls on John Morant. Got to see what you can get for him. Obviously. We'll see what happens, man. But normally we end the show with some MLB talk. MLB just kicked off. First pitch was yesterday. Opening days yesterday. We're going to do some more MLB talk. But before we go here, we're going to end you guys with a former Spur. Video clip of a former Spur. One guy that doesn't get a lot of credit. Surprising me, it surprised the hell out of me to find out he's not in the Hall of Fame. Maybe, Jeff, you can maybe answer this question one day on Locked On Spurs as why this guy's not in the Hall of Fame. He was a good Spur. He was a good player. I mean, really good player. Why? We're going to leave you guys here for the weekend. You have a great weekend. It's NCAA March Madness. My bracket is terrible. Everybody that joined the Dirty Four bracket sponsored by MCS, Castro and Sons, Barron County, Apparel. My bracket's horrible. It's horrible out there. I've got Auburn and Duke in the championship game, so hopefully that'll happen, and maybe it'll bump me back up to like number, 8 or 9 in the bracket standings. But I'm not finishing last. Hopefully not, because I heard there's a pretty painful thing that happens if you finish last in that bracket challenge. But nonetheless, enjoy the weekend, guys. You're going to be getting a lot of Iron Refocused and Sweep the League content coming this weekend. So, yeah, you're going to get a whole lot of content this weekend on Sweep the League Network. All you got to do is go to YouTube, search Sweep the League TV, hit that subscribe button. Jeff's trying to keep me on as much as possible, and I'm going to do this. Why would you take call for Wemby? You like to call me on a lot of stuff, but I always stick to my guns. As if I'm a GM, I always say, you take calls on everybody, no matter who it is. You take calls on everybody. That's the role of a GM. Does it mean you trade? No, you can just hang up the phone. But you take calls on everybody, no matter who it is, no matter who it's for. You always take a call. So yes, 100% yes. You take calls on Wemby. You take calls on whoever. I'm sure Krause and Reinsdorf took calls on Michael Jordan. They didn't ever trade him, obviously, but I know they took calls on Mike. You take calls on everybody. That is rule one of being a GM. Do your job. Do your job and do your due diligence. Take calls on everybody. Doesn't mean you have to trade for them. Doesn't mean anything like that. But you take calls. I always say you take calls on everybody. So yes, you do take calls on Wemby. All right, guys, y'all enjoy the weekend. We're going to leave you now with a former Spur, someone who should be in the Hall of Fame. Enjoy it, guys. Shout out to MCS General Contracting, best in the business, sponsors of Iron Refocused Radio and Sweep the League Network. Shout out to Jeff Garcia, Locked On Spurs. You'll catch me there almost weekly now on Jeff Garcia's Locked On Spurs, where we talk about anything and everything San Antonio Spurs. Season winding down, so I know this is the time where Jeff starts to figure out, what are we going to talk about? Well, Jeff, here's a subject for you as we leave you here on Sweep the League. You guys have a great weekend. For Rudy Campos Jr., for Derek Gervin, for Coach Dio, and the rest of the staff here at Sweep the League. Again, shout out, happy birthday, Derek Gervin. Celebrate his birthday today. It's Rudy Campos Jr. Until we sweep the league again, we'll see you later, knuckleheads.
You know a player I don't think the younger generation even know about? Terry Cummins, 6'9", 225, built like a linebacker, man. Straight out of Chicago, power forward. Terry Cummins will cook your favorite post players in the 80s and the early 90s, man. Terry Cummins came into the league in 1982, averaging 23 points and 10 rebounds a game. His first 8-9 season, he was a walking double-double, 20 and 10. This man played 18 years in the league. He last played in 2000. He was giving you 8 points per game in 2000. Multiple-time All-NBA, multiple-time All-Star. But he's not in the Hall of Fame, and I really don't understand that. When you talk about Chi-Town ballers, Chicago dudes, man, Terry Cummins right there at the top, man. Like, he is like that. Terry Cummins the only dude in NBA history that outscored Michael Jordan in the playoff series. Every playoff series Michael Jordan played in, he was the leading scorer, except for one time where Terry Cummins outscored him, man. Terry Cummins was an absolute dog. It's a shame he's not in the Hall of Fame, man, but Terry Cummins will cook your favorite power forward today. Look at that dunk. Like, come on, Joe. Like, for real.
Time to react, yeah, I shift like a skate. Left, right, lean, that's a bucket in sight. Pull up mid, let it fly, no hype. Fourth quarter ice, keep the rock in my grip. When the clock go red, on slip, I rip. Fast as alive, yeah, the motor don't quit. Drop 30 quick, now they begging for a switch. Fox in the open, the lane look free, now I lob that up.